Hey, I'm playing the game I said I hate. Aren't I fucking cool and awesome? Today I'm gonna be just going over some builds for some of the worst Warframes and showing that literally anything in this game can work, because it's really funny when you use a D tier Warframe and then the number says 1 million. The first build is gonna be for Valkyr, who is pretty shit. She has one pretty good ability and one mid ability. And yeah, the ability that makes you invincible is the mid one. The good one is Warcry. And Warcry is her helmet, so that's really cool. However, Hysteria isn't useless. It has really good crit— shut up, Ordis. It has really good crit stats, and its slide attack is good. The main thing why this ability sucks is the stance is ass, but the slide attack is really good. So this is the build. Ignore the fact that some mods in this video are not going to be maxed. I don't care that I'm legendary rank 3. I don't feel like maxing out mods and we having to redo every single build. This is the main build, and the whole point of this is using Wrathful Advance to gain funny number crit stat. A more comfortable version of this build, instead of Augur Secrets, you would run either Equilibrium or Flow, just to have more energy, especially if you don't have Energize, because energy can be an issue, but Augur Secrets makes the number funnier, so I'm going to be running Augur Secrets. The weapons don't really matter because we're going to be using the talents. However, if you want to run an Incarnon weapon for the passive buffs, that could work, like running Ceramic Dagger, just for the extra movement speed, is nice if you want to. Also, I'm going to be using the exact same companion build and all of the builds today. It's not really something special, it's just really good. This is just a basic Nautilus build using Manifold Bond to reset Cordon's cooldown just to group up everything. The weapon is the Hellstrom just because it's good at spreading status, and as you can see, I don't give a shit, I just want status. And fire rate is nice. And status multi-shot. Alright, so at the start of the mission, I'm just going to build up Incarnon, just because it's nice. There we go. And then Warcry, and then this is Glacier talking about energy is kind of an issue, so I'm just gonna use a pizza. Press 4, press 3, and then wow, funny numbers. And the numbers will be even funnier with more augmented all the way stacked up. If you look really closely, you might see a million number, which I think just happens when you headshot something. Oh yeah, there was a 5 million there. Molt Augmented isn't even max, by the way. I'm only like halfway there. Oh, there's another 5 million. Yeah, this is one of the worst Warframes in the game, by the way. Just so you know how stupid this game is. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, running Corrosive as the element, just because we're just brute forcing through the armor. We're not using any primers or anything. Primers are really annoying to use as Valkyr, because when you use a gun, you're not invincible in year 4. Oh yeah, they're almost ran out of energy, but it's okay, energized proc. Yeah, so that's— you don't need the extra strength, it's just funny. So the build would be better if you ran Equilibrium or something. Equilibrium or Flow. But I like it when the number's funny. Alright, so now Molt Augmented is max, but I can't turn off Warcry, so we're just gonna jump off the map. Add Wrestling Strength, pop Warcry, pop 4. And there we go, now we reach maximum funny number. You could boost this even more with like teammates using like power donation, what's the other one? You could make this even funnier with like teammates using power donation, Nidus, Equinox, and using like growing power, but you don't really need it. Anything's gonna die from your slide attacks, and your slide attack, you're probably gonna hit him with slash, and your slash procs are doing millions of damage. Here's the Acolyte. That was a boss fight. I didn't even slide attack. So that was the Valkyr build. It was okay. It's probably the best build I'm gonna show off in this video. Next up is Nyx, who is also pretty shit. She does have some funny jokes. Like, she does have a armor strip, even though it's not great. But today, this build is going to resolve around Absorb, more specifically it's Augment Assimilate, and again using Wrathful Advance, but not just for the funny crits, although that is part of it, but actually for the teleport part of it. This is the build. We want to have a lot of range, a lot of efficiency, because you're going to be spamming the 1 and absorb. Even with shit duration, good efficiency makes it so absorb still has like no energy cost, especially with efficiency, making up for this a bit better. And this is one, I do have one format here, but this is a 0 format build. You could do more to make Umbral intensify, but you really don't need to. This is the build I'm running on the Ceramic Dagger, which I think is probably the best melee you could run for this. You could run any heavy attack melee you want, but I'm going to be running this because of the Incarnon perk, this one, that gives you 100 base combo, and also this, and using the crit chance one here. And we're also going to have Corrupt Charge here, just to have as much combo as possible, because we're going to be spamming heavy attacks. So we're running a heavy attack build, and we're also adding Condition Overload, because we are going to be using a primer. I'm going to be using the Epitaph here with this. You could also use like the new core, but I'm just going to be running this. You also want to have a good primary, because you're going to need to get 100 primary kills, preferably at the start. So I'm going to be running 10 Arca Plasma, which could solo Steel Path by itself, but shut up. Inaros is actually kind of important for this, as the grouping makes it a lot easier. I'm going to pop Simulate so I don't die. As you can see, my Simulate using a black energy color. I recommend using a black energy color, Nick, so you don't flashbang yourself when trying to play the game. As you can see, like, this weapon is good enough to do Steel Path. Just bring something that doesn't die. Probably Revenant. And you can just kill everything. Normally. Well, there we go. Now it is maxed. So now the real build can start. So what we do with this build is you prime, and then you press 1. Prime, and press 1. Ceramic Dagger and Incarnon's also nice because it gives you parkour speed, so lets you roll further. But your main movement is going to be using Wrathful Advance. The primer is also nice, as priming enemies and then killing them approx Manifold Bond to give Nautilus less of cooldown. This room kind of sucks. I'm gonna move to a different room. Yeah, like most heavy attack builds, this is just killing everything. And Rifle Advance does help. Mixes one weakness, which is you're slow when you're in. The ability that makes you not take damage. The only real counter to this is if Violence shows up. So you have a shield gate, and then you can just press 1 on him. I'm literally not using any of my other abilities, and I do have an armor strip if I need it, which is nice. Like, say, if you're gonna try this on Disruption, you can also armor strip the Acolyte, but also you're probably just gonna one-shot the Acolyte even through their armor. I'm not gonna armor strip them just to see. I'll definitely one-shot them with the armor strip. Where are they? Oh, there they are. Yeah, so they died from the slash proc. That probably would one-shot with the armor strip. So it was the Nyx build. It was pretty good. You know, if you want to play Nyx, this is a way to play Nyx and just kill everything without taking any damage. The last build is going to be on Inaros, the Sandman himself, and we're going to be using a funny survival method this time. We're going to be using my favorite mod, Amalgam Daiku Target Acquired, which the important part of this is the 3% lifesteal on Nakanas. That's the only stat here that matters. We're literally not going to fire this weapon at all. The only other mod here that does anything is Amalgam Serration, just for sprint speed. Run primary dexterity, just because, again, you're not going to use it. Inaros is a melee-focused frame, so we're going to be buffing his melee damage using Wrathful Advance, because Inaros' whole thing is he's just a big block of health, and we're going to be using an Arcana with Amalgam Daiku Target Acquired to just have a bunch of lifesteal, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of damage. So you have to use Anakana, and I'm gonna be using the Sion because it is funny, and it is a really good heavy attack weapon with its unique gimmick. I'm gonna be using the Sion, which is probably the best Nakana for this. Has a pretty good gimmick on heavy attack with its range attack. This is the build for it. You could swap on Condition Overload and use a primer, but you don't really need to. You can. So with this build, the whole thing is using the Sion's range attack, and if you want more damage, you can use a primer, but just blinding them and then using the shockwave is probably enough. Besides, your companion is doing a decent amount of priming. Actually, using the ability, using Wrathful Advance is kind of weird. Like, it can like break the camera sometimes, and like doesn't really work, and it's kind of hard to get the follow-up attack on. Yeah, like that. So it's better just teleport to the ground, just to get the buff. As you can see, it's just constantly healing. Oh, there's the Acolyte. I hit him. He did a bunch of damage to me, but I just healed it back. Oh, I have Magnetize on me, that's why. Alright, goodbye. So those are 3 examples of Warframes that are pretty bad, but using some stuff you can still... Shut the f... So those are 3 examples of some Warframes that are pretty bad, that you can still make viable on Steel Path. You know, anything in this game can work if you really want to. Although, I did use the same ability on all 3 Warframes. I don't know why I did that. You could just play Coolerva, who has that ability, and it would be better.